welcome to Dario's Comic School. And today I will show you my face. And just from time to time, I think it's important to speak to the audience and share my ideas or where I am standing right now. So it's November, and it's cold here in Germany, and things are going great. Well, maybe. So this morning I'm consuming or watching the channel of a guy called the Thrifty Typewriter, and he makes video essays or recaps of great TV shows. And this morning he had a thing about the Game of Thrones, and I don't know what's the episode called, the wedding something, the red wedding. And I really enjoy watching his videos, and also, like, I didn't watch Netflix Dark or The Dark, only Dark, about time travel and stuff and time loops and decisions and wants. And yeah, lately I'm consuming very much of his content, and I'm very intrigued, like, by his The Walking Dead videos. And yeah, I was just working stuff and buying up old Warhammer Fantasy and 40k army books to have the artwork with me, because those are books from the 2000s, and the new artwork is pretty much digital artwork, and the new Warhammer Fantasy army books are not so filled with love or care or appreciation as the old ones, I think. So I'm buying them up. So and that's a good point, so I can fill up my cup again. So why am I making this video? I had an idea about, like, strong artist, healthy artist, juice of life. And sometimes when you work for a long time, which I was just working, getting in the money, finishing stuff, hadn't really time for myself. So my cup got empty. And when we're looking at an artist's life, it sometimes might not be that normal. Like, you take time for your craft, you create things. Maybe you're not in a structure like people who work a 9 to 5. Maybe you're freelancing, or you're thinking about freelancing. And sometimes when life is not going the way you want it, and we'll come in a second how that relates to the other shows like The Walking Dead, Dark, Game of Thrones. Yeah, your cup gets empty, and we live in a modern world, so chances you might be slain with a sword are very minimal. But yeah, something else could happen to you. Like, you could be sad, depressed, exhausted, lonely. You may not connect with anybody. Like, we have definitely modern problems, and that's where we now are, where I am rambling on. But no, like, we have all the shows, we have history, stories, mythical stories. It doesn't matter if it's about time travel, it's about slaying dragons, or war, or if it's about a zombie apocalypse. Like, there's people with struggles, and even though those struggles might be fantastic, it's always about humanity and growing as a human being, being stretched to some extent, and then we see what changes in the character. And then you have me and you, where we're trying to figure out life. How can we make this artistic endeavor work, or how can we make life successful, and other stuff. And then how that inspires our stories. And how do we close this? Like, when I draw inspiration from life, I draw inspirations from my own problems and things I find out about life. So, in a typical zombie apocalypse, you have your problems. In a time travel spiral or apocalyptic thing, or dragons and houses battling each other, they have their struggles. But where I am right now in my storytelling thing, it's like it could be a similar epic, because we live in modern times, and maybe our struggle is something like in the Fight Club or in the Matrix, where you're born and you live a life that's kind of comfortable, but it's maybe soul sucking. And then there's so much noise, always things trying to grab your attention and wanting them to direct. Like, you can easily get lost in life just by playing along with others and forgetting totally about yourself. And that's where we come again, which might be the epic of our lifetime. Like, it's not battling dragons, it's not battling a zombie apocalypse, and it's not the time travel thing. But I have different books here in this house or apartment, and it's books about health and staying healthy. It's books about power. It's books about healing trauma. And so, in my own comic book, when you experience something bad, when your cup is empty, when you hit a certain point where you think, why am I always lonely? Like, these are the problems, I guess, of modern times, and not everybody has them. But maybe these are a few I experience, and maybe you experience different problems, and so your problems give inspirations to the struggles of the characters in your stories, but also like the source material, like I have here, again, The Walking Dead or Warhammer 40k, and it's always like some dark thing, forces from outside infecting something human that wants to survive. And again, the empty cup. Like, you ideally in a successful life you want to be, and also like I'm making this because I was thinking about, you can only make great and healthy art. It's not always like that. Like, you cannot reach perfection. Like, you always have to work with what you got. But to work better as an artist, it's good to be orderly. It's good to have hobbies outside your work, to meet friends, to be able to meet friends, to have a healthy body, to have a functioning financial, you know what I mean, income or money coming in. So to have a certain parts of your life figured out. And even if you have all those figured out, you still need nurturing relationships, I guess. I wouldn't say like I don't want to live without nurturing relationships, but I'm rambling on, but bear with me. Like, sometimes in a story, in an epic like The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones or The Dark, you meet characters and they seem to be evil or they seem to be good, and you go along and you have hopes for the characters, and yeah, you think this could be it or this ain't it. And in real life, I'm experiencing similar things, like friends 2 years ago where I was thinking this doesn't work out, are now coming back into my life, but because we've grown, like we've forgiven each other for things that happened, and I'm wiser, they're wiser, and we're maybe put together or thrown together to go again to do that mission, maybe with a band, or maybe you know what I mean. Or sometimes you trust a person, or you trust things will work out, but they don't. You see, it's just a facade, or you putting on a facade. And so it's like in Game of Thrones, you think it's gonna go this way, and then at the end of it, everybody dies. And yeah, maybe in real life, you gotta put on It's really about what is actually working in real life and what is not. Like Daniel Warren Johnson, I know when COVID started, he said he couldn't draw a comic, and I didn't draw a comic for the past 2 years. And I mean, I was forcing myself to, but I did other things. And the question is, am I done with it? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Is this really a video? Yeah, I think you gotta go with the flow of life. You gotta learn to take the punches, and sometimes it's not easy to make out your story and where it's going, like this video. But definitely, inspiration is drawn from life for your characters. Some of the epics you watch can be very relatable to your day-to-day lives and the struggles, and the characters you're rooting for. They give you some of their badassness. Like I mean, storytelling is always like this. It's pressure put on a character, or situation puts pressure on a character. Doesn't matter if he dies or lives, but the audience or the story, wherever it goes, you will always have like pressure put on, decisions to be made, and then something stronger arises. And I think this is what I want to tell you, like, draw inspiration from your life, one part. Draw also inspiration from the things you love. Like Daniel Warren Johnson is very into, and I'm naming him because like I can relate. Like he's very into guitars. Greg Capullo is too. He's very into music. He's into wrestling and dance, and that's the 80s, 90s pop culture I also grew up with. So for you, it's maybe something different. And then in the middle, you have yourself and trying to figure out what to do. Like you're the hero of your own story. And sometimes you think like, shit, everybody has it better, or some people have it worse. But like there's always a progress, and then it's not a typical story like life. It's not so dramatic or so efficient, I would say, like a story, like where everything happens very economically. But then you have all your wants and needs, and those don't go away. Like the Thrifty typewriter, I might link him down below. He said, like in Dark, everybody, even if it's a time travel story, like everybody's moved by his needs, and so you are too. So combine your struggles with the source material you love, and then here you are in the middle, and combine that. Because like, even though I'm not yet into time travel, I think maybe some future self could influence me with its thoughts. Maybe I've created a future self, and the future self could help myself in the now. So here we have the time travel aspect. Or maybe I'm a guy in this world and I'm trying to break out of this artificial bullshit and attention grabbing which is thrown at me. And so those are the walkers that I am facing, that I have to slay, that I have to protect myself from. And then maybe in my own life there's the kingdom I want to build, or the dragons that need to be slain. And yeah, we'll see how all of that goes. And it's a very strange video, but sometimes it's good to ramble bullshit that makes no sense. But yeah, it kind of does. Like, I'm not fitting into this world. It's like I'm not agreeing with a lot this world is feeding me. I'm not agreeing with the food. I'm not agreeing with I'm a guy, I was on the sun. I go working out and fighting now because I think to be a healthy artist or to create a good life, I need to be strong and maybe also physically a bit intimidating. I cannot push the pencils all day just on a desk. it will not lead to success, because like success is not just built on one pillar. And so yeah, it's a pretty well structured story. And then also like it's not Fight Club, but I definitely feel loneliness in my endeavors, because like I got myself out a bit off the matrix or off the grid, and sometimes it's a lonely road because everybody is doing something normal and they pretty much live on the weekends, and I live every day, but they don't work on the weekends, and I work kinda every day or most of the days. And so it's hard. How do you find your tribe? Where do you fit in? How can you make the money aspect work? What has society fed to you? Like lately I'm watching, like I was very into the pickup stuff, but then again, like we're now in like postmodern times. The narrative that women say, I want my own job, I want to be my own man, I want to earn my own money, and that's all good. But then, like, what's happening to our family structures? What's happening with the hookup culture? What's happening with me and you and other people pursuing different careers? Are we set up to be poor, lonely, and outcasts, which cannot be healthy? Like, without a tribe, I guess our chances for happiness and survival are very low. But yeah, I end this video. I hope I release it. It's just Dario rambling for 70 minutes. Yeah, we'll see us.